gotta go. I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bat Dan's Discussions. And this is going to be a good show today. I am so excited to talk about how Zack Snyder has moved on from DC and will never do anything DC again. I cannot wait. And we have a full house in the chat. We got DC Talk, Tobe, Dennis, we got the Prime, and I'm going to try showing comments in the chat tonight, or showing comments down there, so this will be interesting. What up, the good Austin? Personally, the Prime, I agree. Actually, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to spoil this stream. And TheCurlyRay. What up? The kind of a star on some of these topics tonight, actually. We got it feels like pulling up. DC Talk, Osa Fresh, South Cali guy. And now we have Socks Bulletins. Hello, Socks, how are you? I'm singing a song for Socks Bulletins, cause I know he likes musicals. Now please join me as I bring on my guest, ZodWriter. What up, Zod?
Oh my God, it's a pleasure to be here, man. I just gotta say, thank you for inviting me to come on your stream and to talk about this topic that is near and dear to both our hearts. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be here. And yeah, it feels good. It feels great, man. It feels great to be here talking about this stuff. I feel sometimes I feel very, very isolated and alone because I'm in the process of finishing up One Punch Dan. So I'm very happy to be here talking about this stuff with you. It's great. And hello to the chat.
Absolutely, Zod. But why don't you talk about this for a little bit? Why you're so isolated, as you say?
Well, I'm in the process of finishing up One Punch Dan. It's very, and when I say in the process of finishing it up, it's very close to being completed, and I cannot wait for everyone to see it. It is a love letter to this community. It is a love letter to the late, great Mikey Sutton. It is a love letter to everything that we have stood for as a community since the very beginning. Since the early days of the fight to release the Snyder Cut, all the way to where we are now with Cell, ZSJL to Netflix, Cell Snyderverse to Netflix. I like being able to connect to kind of connect the two, because even though One Punch Man is its own thing and is not related to the Snyderverse in any way, it is safe to say that this whole community has inspired this movie, and it just gets me super, super hyped and excited to be able to be so close to the end, because I'm working on editing every single day. It's a lot of work. It's very tedious, but it's also going to be very rewarding at the end when everybody finally gets to see this thing.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And do you want to know how much the star, or how much of the movie the star of One Punch Man has seen? None. Because I have told ZodWriter, I don't want to see the beginning of the movie. I don't want to see any more clips. I want to be surprised from beginning to end.
That's one of the things I really, really admire about you, Bat Dan, given the fact that you are the title character of this movie, and the fact that you didn't want to see it when I was doing the screenings for the first 45 minutes of the movie, which I'm still eternally grateful to everyone that participated in those early screenings for the first 45 minutes of the film, because that helped me out a lot to get feedback, to see where people were, at, and to just get a general sense of what people were thinking of One Punch Man as a story. And the thing I think that is so amazing about it, and what I find so fascinating about it, is that I've come to the conclusion that pretty much the majority of the trailers that I've put out for the movie basically tell you nothing. The movie itself, the trailers are simply just, out there, just to give you little glimpses, but they don't really prepare you for what you're actually going to see. I would say that my trailers are actually quite misleading when it comes to the story that you're going to actually see. And I've I've realized this as I've been editing this thing together, this monster of a movie that I've been editing together. I've been sitting here saying to myself, this movie is actually nothing like the trailers that I put out. It's nothing like that. These trailers are like, they're terrible. They're terrible. They're terribly misleading. They're terrible trailers. They do nothing to really prepare people for what is in store. And so I'm just hoping that the entire community will enjoy the movie, especially the people that were kind enough to give me their likeness and to grant me, allow me to use their likeness and voice for this movie, because it's really quite special. And I think that our dear friend, the late great Mikey Sutton, would be very happy and be very pleased with the way that he is depicted in this film as well. So I'm just really excited. I can't say enough about it. It's hard for me to put it into words, because I've been working so hard on it and so close. I mean, I kind of got criticized not too long ago for, being too busy with my own stuff. I'm paraphrasing here, but the reality is that, I'm one guy. Okay. And this is a movie. This is a big undertaking. This isn't something that, just happens overnight. So even though I haven't been around as much as I would like to have been, or, and I've missed a lot of, live streams and trending events and various things, I've been here. I still support all you guys. I'm here for Cell 1000%. I support, all of the stuff, all the great stuff that Sky, Leon, and Austin, and, the Cool Table, Necron, all the things that everybody is doing to, further the message of the Snyderverse on Netflix. I'm still there for all that, and I'm looking forward to, resuming active participation in all that once I get finished with this movie and I'm fully ready to move forward. And that's the thing, because it is a lot of work. I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I started working on this movie. It really has been an eye opener, and I have learned so much. I've learned so much about it. I've learned more about editing than I ever did. I took several courses, when I was in college. I took some film courses, and I took some editing courses in film school, and I've learned more editing One Punch Dan than I did in all the courses I've ever taken. I mean, it is so insane. There is so much going on. And like I said, I think it's all going to be worth it in the end, because I think everybody's going to be able to look at this as a project and say, wow, Zod really did, try to carry on Mikey's legacy through this. He really did try to do the best that he could with this material, considering that, I didn't have the legal rights to Dreamwalker. So it's not like I could make a Dreamwalker movie, but at least I was able to create something that I think Mikey would have loved. And I think everybody in the community is going to enjoy it too. So I'm really getting hyped up. I'm really getting excited now, because I feel like I'm at the home stretch. I just got a little bit left to go, and it'll all be ready, and you guys all get to see it. And that's why it was moved to 2026 for the release, because I just wanted to make sure it was all done and ready and looking good for everybody. So I'm excited.
I am too, Zod. I cannot wait to see this movie. So guys, 2026, be on the lookout for One Punch Dan. And now I want to show a little something else. Bat Dan's not unboxing. So Skywalker was like, when he saw this, he's like, Bat Dan, you got to do an unboxing. You got to do an unboxing. And I'm like, nope, I do not take figures out of the box, because everyone knows, unless you're actually playing with the toys, do not take them out of the box. That is a big no. So, Austin, I hope you're still in the chat, because this is actually from The Flash. It is Batfleck. It is Ben Affleck's Batman on the Bat Cycle. So
that's really cool. Wow. Nice.
Thank you. Yeah. And I know the reflection can kind of kill it a little bit, or kill the being able to see it, but this is the Bat Cycle. Batman, the only time you see Ben Affleck as a blue Batman.
Now, how much did that cost you? Because
$70.
did you get it off of eBay?
Walmart.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, even though, again, there's debate about whether the Flash movie takes place in the Snyderverse, it's still Snyderverse adjacent with Zack Snyder's and Ben Affleck's Batman. Oh, dude, he said, I knew you were going to respond with a nope. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey, some people enjoy taking them out of the box, and you know what?
Yeah, see, I go back. I see, but and guys, Austin and Bat Dan, I go back and forth. Sometimes I'll take the stuff out of the box. Sometimes I won't. It really depends on what it is, and to me, it depends on how you can display it on the shelf. Like you saw how I had all my figures laid out when you were here, Bat Dan, where I've got literally all of them. But that's because I'm able to put them on the shelf, and they look good together. But something like that, I can understand you not wanting to take it out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, the way if you look at how this, let me pull this out again. Look at how this is designed.
Yeah. There's
like,
really there's no real reason to take that out of the box unless you have like a diorama that you want to set up, or you're trying to like create like an actual scene from the Flash with your toys, and you've got a lot of other figures and stuff. Otherwise, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to take it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just, and again, if some people want to take it out and have fun with it, Absolutely. You know, as you said, we're all different types of collectors.
I know one thing that you like though that you don't mind opening, and that is your Monopoly games. You love those Monopoly games, so I'm gonna, those Monopoly.
Yeah, that's a little.
Are
That's a little
because
different,
you can actually play those. Those are actually designed to be played, right? Those are,
they're designed to be played, and you see what this material is. It's clear. My Monopoly games are not clear. You can't see the board. Like you can see everything.
Right.
Here.
Right. And it's set up in such a way where it actually looks nice displayed in the box. But some of these figures and stuff, they'll come in boxes where it might just be like a black box with like a Batman logo on it, or it'll just be something where you won't see the figure at all unless it has a window or it has a thing. And that's what I'm working on too with the One Punch Dan action figures. I want the One Punch Dan action figures to have like the windows where you can clearly see everything that's included, so that for people like you, Bat Dad, that don't like to take the figures out of the box.
Yeah. Yep, I appreciate that, Zod. I appreciate that. But hey, I mean, if you want to be like Austin and take them out, that's fine too.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to do that because, for certain things. Like I've got, like on my shelf right now, I've got Michael Keaton Batman, I've got Henry Cavill Superman, I've got Sasha Calle Supergirl, I've got Black Adam, I've got a couple others, and I've got Darkseid hovering over all of them, but Darkseid is still in the box. I just don't have the heart to take Darkseid out of the box. He was really expensive, so I just like, I'm going to leave Darkseid where he is.
Fair enough. Darkseid you don't want to mess with, but yes, I just wanted to show this off real quick because it's fun to show this stuff off. It's fun to show these figures of an IP that we're all interested in. So absolutely.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Sorry. So now I will be right back, but I will still be listening in. ZodWriter. I swear StreamYard sometimes is very... There we are. There we are. So why don't you give your thoughts on this?
This to me was really, really amazing because it gave me warm and fuzzy feelings because it makes you realize just how much Netflix loves the Snyderverse. Netflix, I feel like Netflix are as big of fans of the Snyderverse as we all are, and they want to see it continue too. So it's kind of like, and what was it that we said? What was it that we said about Black Adam? We were never picky about Black Adam. It's not like we said, oh, well, because he's not wearing the black suit, that's not Zack Snyder's Superman. We understood what was going on there with Black Adam from the beginning. We said clearly what we were going for, and there were reasons to support that because you wanted to support the idea of Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. That was the whole point. And obviously Netflix agrees with us. Netflix wants there to be more Henry Cavill Superman. So it's wonderful. Yeah.
And I got back just in time, but I listened in on everything. So for those of you who don't know, I had a really long day. I ate dinner and came on the stream, and I forgot to use the bathroom before coming on here. But
that was quick for using the bathroom. You were very fast. You're a very fast peer.
Yep.
They'll put you in the non-existent third season. Maybe Sean Gunn will put you in the non-existent third season of Peacemaker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I just want to show I would like, you know what? Sure. Why not? Why not do that?
The non-existent.
Just want to show this off real quick though. So this is the Netflix France account. 1v1. Who wins? Black Adam. It's available. So my guess is that Black Adam's available on Netflix in France. That would be my guess. But
Oh yeah.
But I really like
it is. I used a VPN to check. It is. It is.
No.
It's on
Nice.
It's on Netflix in France. Yeah.
Because this was when there was the most hype for DC in a long time. I think this was the last time there was actual hype for DC. Was the Henry Cavill post-credits scene.
Say whatever you want about Black Adam, about the movie. I actually thought the movie was pretty decent, but whatever you think about Black Adam as a movie, there was more hype surrounding Black Adam than there's been for anything that James Gunn has done since his DCU got started.
Absolutely, Zod. 100%. And it's nice seeing that Netflix, I mean, because again, Netflix France is under Netflix. They are representing the IP, their brand, and they are showing hype for the Snyderverse or Snyderverse adjacent. I'll say Snyderverse adjacent for now, so some of the purists don't get mad at me, but they're showing an excitement for Zack Snyder's characters. And here's the thing, Zod. You know how you said that like the ZSJL is a separate IP?
Mm-hmm.
So if Netflix were to get the licensing rights to ZSJL, they may not be able to do Black Adam because that would be a separate IP. But if Netflix, let's say, buys the entirety of Warner Brothers, that might not matter as much.
Right? They might give The Rock another crack at it.
I mean, here's the thing. The reason why most people were excited for Black Adam was Henry Cavill's Superman, if we're being honest here. So let's just say that I think a Black Adam v Superman movie will definitely get people excited to see it. And
right, and not for nothing, if they would have made Superman a bigger part of that movie, other than a post-credits scene, I think we would be having a much different conversation today, because I think that movie would have did a lot better. That's how much people love Henry Cavill's Superman. If you would have made Henry Cavill, his Superman, an actual important part of the Black Adam movie, and not just a teaser for something else, you would have really, really got butts in the seats. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And to answer Sin Havoc's question, I'm going to be externally patient. Sorry, not this one. I'm going to be externally patient, okay? I'm not going to be spamming chats anymore saying Netflix chop chop. But if you're expecting me if you're expecting me to be internally patient, here's the thing. I fought for this for 4 years now, like over 4 years now. I only have so much energy, people. I mean, for crying out loud, a year ago, almost 2, I woke up from anesthesia saying Ezra Miller is innocent, sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix. Don't need this in the back of my mind forever is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, okay? I will be externally patient, but internally patient, probably not so much. But yeah, I do agree, Zod. They should have made it a better part. And I will say this, I will say the one criticism I will give The Rock is I'm fine with the blue suit, but I think the Hans Zimmer music would have helped a little bit more. I will say that.
I mean, all of the fan edits of that clip, of that credit scene, where he has the black suit and they replaced it with the Man of Steel Hans Zimmer theme, it makes that scene so much better. Makes that scene feel so much more atmospheric and so much more like it fits in with the previous Snyderverse continuity. It just feels right when you watch it that way. And so, like, I've actually gone back with my copy of Black Adam. I've gone back and done that. I actually re-edited in that scene where he's got the black suit with the Zimmer music, because I just think it fits so much better.
Absolutely, and I agree. And I mean, here's the thing. Despite that, I'm still thankful for what The Rock did, and I still, and I'm not going to dwell too much on the past, because the past happened. I'm just saying, seeing Netflix promote this right now on the anniversary of when Henry Cavill, close to the anniversary, I don't remember the exact date of when Henry Cavill announced he was returning as Superman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is all very, very strategic. And Netflix knows what they're doing. See, Netflix is not, and that's why I say all these people that act like Netflix has no, and you see other stuff all the time. Oh, Netflix has no interest. Netflix isn't going to do that. Don't underestimate Netflix. This is your evidence with Netflix participating. Why is Netflix doing this? Because, like I said before, they're just as big of fans as we are, and they want to see it continue. They got the message of Cell. That's what this is basically telling you. They got the message loud and clear.
exactly, zAcK. Because here's the big thing. You could say, oh, well, they're just trying to promote a movie they have on their platform. Why are they specifically promoting a scene that's not going to continue? That they have no intention of trying to find some way to continue?
Well, it's like when AT&T was showing all those Batfleck, all those screenshots of Batfleck and the signal and all that. When you remember during the release the Snyder Cut days when AT&T was just 1000% all in, and they were like, yeah. You know why? Because at that time, AT&T, it was before AT&T sold WB. It was before they sold them. And when with them in control, if AT&T would have stuck around after that whole debacle, right? We would have 100% got more Snyderverse. It was a guaranteed done deal because the head of AT&T himself came down and said, "Put that movie out." So we would have got more, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, 100%. And well, if there is another version of Black Adam, we'll see. But
yeah, the rumor is that the director's cut actually has the black suit and the Hans Zimmer music. That's the rumor about the director's cut. But
I mean, it's not like Henry Cavill ever wore the black suit in real life. So except maybe Man of Steel. I don't know about Man of Steel.
Yeah, there was that brief. That special suit that was created for that one sequence in Man of Steel.
Yes, I don't know if that was an actual black suit he wore,
if zAcK did that in post. Yeah, I don't remember.
But he doesn't necessarily need a special suit to do the black suit in post, because remember that scene when Henry Cavill's in Cyborg's premonition and Henry Cavill's crying when Lois died?
Yeah.
Well, so in fact, that was not filmed for Justice League at all. That was an alternate take in Man of Steel.
Alternate take from the Man of Steel, after he killed Zod. That's what that was.
Yes. Henry Cavill confirmed this, and Henry Cavill wasn't wearing a special blue suit to turn into black for that scene. So it's not like zAcK can't do it, but at the end of the day, this is really exciting. I mean, and we could get so much if only Zack Snyder was interested in continuing his work, but we'll get into that later. I don't want to spoil
the director's cut of I will tell you, I will give you this one little tidbit about the director's cut socks. The director's cut of One Punch Man has an alternate ending, and the movie ends a lot quicker and a lot more decisive in the director's cut. And in the director's cut, there would be no sequel to One Punch Man. Let me just put it to you that way. So I don't know if you guys will ever see the director's cut of One Punch Man, but
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, you guys. I don't know if you guys will ever see the director's cut, because the director's cut is wild and wacky.
Well, I guess if I do see the director's cut, I have an idea of how it ends now. So, but yeah, I don't know. In terms of Aquaman 2, I mean, Aquaman 1's definitely not canon to the. I'm not. No. That's going to start a whole nother debate. That's going to get us way off topic, but. At the end of the day, though, this was great to see Netflix showing interest and showing that they are playing chess, not checkers. And we'll get into more of that later. But now, I need to do a little rant about something. So James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, is out of control. So TheCurlyRay, are you still in the chat right now? Let me know. But we're continuing either way, whether or not you are in the chat. But here we are. So here is our good friend, TheCurlyRay. So how AMC and Netflix have finally decided to work together. The theater chain will show K-pop Demon Hunters on 400 screens during Halloween, with discussions ongoing on other theatrical opportunities. So I guess Netflix is interested in theaters. So, there's that. But here's what our good friend TheCurlyRay says. This confirms that Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 will be in theaters. This is 100% guaranteed. This is also a win for everyone who wants ZSJL 2 and 3 to be in theaters. Sell ZSJL to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix, and tagging Netflix. I guess, Zod, what's your thoughts on this post before we get into the comment I want to rant about?
I love the way that TheCurlyRay, aka Rebel Moon Theory, is thinking with regards to this, because those were exactly my thoughts too. I was like, well, there you go. All these people that are talking about, oh, Netflix is going to be the death of movie theaters if Netflix acquires WB, all this crazy stuff. It's amazing the gymnastics all these gun bots are putting themselves through to make excuses as to why Netflix buying WB is either an impossibility or would be a completely negative thing. They are going out of their way to trip all over themselves. And I thought that this post made a whole lot of sense. And then I saw somebody say something along the lines of, well, Netflix has never really released any of their movies on physical media. And that's a lie. That's BS. They've been putting their stuff. They've been putting shows out on physical media. That controversial House of Cards TV show came out on DVD and Blu-ray. Recently, they had that movie. They had that remake of All Quiet on the Western Front that came out a year or two ago, and that got released on Blu-ray. And so Netflix does put out movies on physical media, and Netflix is most definitely going to honor movie theaters and wants to be a part of that whole ecosystem. You think Netflix wants to stay in one bubble? No, Netflix wants to continue to grow. They want to continue to get bigger. That would be the whole point. If they do end up acquiring WB, why do you think that is? Because it'll make them bigger. It'll ultimately make them richer. It'll make them more powerful in the industry. That's a fact. So I don't know what Shawnee is gonna say here, but TheCurlyRay was spot on.
Absolutely, Zod. And before we show Sean Gunny Poo's post, and I'm just going to say absolutely. And because that's exactly what I feel too, is that, should Netflix get WB and continue on with the Snyderverse, at that point, yes, we will get ZSJL 2 and 3 in theaters. Absolutely. I definitely think that's guaranteed. And, I've been trying to verify that claim, sNHavoc. I have not been able to verify that claim. So for the sake of not spreading misinformation, I have to treat this as speculation. No offense to sNHavoc, but I have to.
Well, I would say that if anything, Netflix has the money, and if Netflix has the majority, it's like with Hulu, right? It's like with Hulu right now. Who has the majority? Who has the majority? Who owns Hulu right now? Disney.
Well, actually,
they own them outright now, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They don't own the majority anymore. They own
it
all.
They own them outright.
They bought out Universal's last share this year because once they bought Fox, or most of Fox, I should say, they bought, Disney already owned 30%. They bought Fox. I did not mean to show my middle finger. That was an accident. They bought Fox's 30%, and absolutely. So they own the majority. And I went to see Army of the Dead in theaters when I had a concussion and was not supposed to be watching TV. So But
not only that, you saw Rebel Moon in theaters. You saw both of them, didn't you? Didn't you see both Rebel Moons?
yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. So, in fact, the Rebel Moons I saw in an AMC theater even.
Like Sid Havoc is telling you. I don't know about that. I think Sid Havoc is on to something.
I'm not saying Sid Havoc is wrong, just to clarify. All I'm saying is that I cannot officially confirm this. That's all I am saying.
Well, I don't know. Sid Havoc, he's got a really good track record, and so I'm inclined to agree, because he really, he's been spot on about most of this stuff. So I don't know.
Well, anyways, I just want to I want to go back to sharing my screen because I want to show why we're talking about this post specifically.
Yeah.
So
this is the post that inspired Skywalker's stream yesterday, correct?
Yes, this was one of them. There were multiple posts, but I think this was the big one because of Sean Gunny Poo. So for those of you who don't know, this is actually, I guess, Zod, you've heard this was the Sean Gunn. You yourself have heard this.
That is correct. Yes.
And again, I think Sky's made the point. Nowadays, you have to have parody if you're going to do this, but he doesn't. So, and here he is, off to Delulu Land. I guess, Zod, where do you see TheCurlyRay shitting on anything that's not Zack Snyder? On Gunny Poo's post?
It just goes to, here's the thing. It just goes to show this is not about a Curly Ray. This is not about anybody's opinion. It's about gun bot inferiority. All of the gun bots, including Gunn's brother, Sean, have an inferiority complex. They know their universe sucks. They know nobody's hyped for anything that James Gunn has done. They know that James Gunn is on his way out. James Gunn has pretty much said as much on interviews lately. If you saw that most recent James Gunn interview, he pretty much admitted that he doesn't think he's going to be here very much longer in terms of being in charge over at DC. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't take anything that any of these gun bots, including his brother Sean, who clearly has a stake in all of this because he plays multiple characters in Gunn's soon-to-be defunct DCU. So as far as I'm concerned, anything that they say is just sour grapes. Okay, you're just trying to, you're going off and mocking a Curly Ray, talking about a Curly Ray being delusional. But here's the thing, a Curly Ray is spot on. And when Netflix, and I want to know what all these like influencers, that were, shout out to Skywalker who spotlighted all these people yesterday. I want to know what all these influencers are going to say, because they've all been downplaying it and all making it seem like it sounds absolutely ridiculous. And because there's been some articles out there where somebody from Netflix said that they're not really looking to do that, or that they aren't going to do that. If and when this actually does happen, what are they going to say? How are they going to spin that? When everything that we've been trying to say for years, everything that the late, great Mikey Sutton was saying for years, when it all comes to pass and Netflix acquires Warner Brothers, what's the excuse going to be? What's the spin going to be for Sean Gunny Poo at this point? Who's he going to attack? Who are all of these fake bot gun accounts? What are they all going to say? I can guarantee you that the majority of these gun bot accounts are going to simply disappear because they're not real people anyway.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely, 100%. And I'll have more about, that's a whole nother topic, Cole, but I think for me is that at the end of the day, what pisses me off is that TheCurlyRay is just showing love for something that he's really passionate about. He's not hating on anything
but he wasn't
else.
even really. But my thing with Curly Ray was he wasn't even doing that. He wasn't even talking about that. He was just making making a reference to the idea of Netflix and AMC working together and acquiring theaters and that kind of thing. I mean, I don't really think a Curly Ray was doing anything that should have, prompted a response from Sean Gunn's burner account on Twitter. I don't understand the need to go after every little thing. And that's what it tells me about these people. They don't have anything better to do. They don't have lives. They have nothing going on. Because if they really, really were secure with what James Gunn is doing, if everybody was excited and hyped about James Gunn, what the hell do you care about what a few fringe fans say about Netflix and the Snyderverse? Because apparently, Bat Dan, I don't know if you know this, I don't know if the audience knows this, but we are allegedly in the minority, right? Allegedly, we're the minority and the Gunn fans are the majority. So if that's the case, then how come everything that Gunn has done since he started his DCU has been like a straight up flop, an epic failure on every level? Why is that? Why is it that Man of Steel made more money than Superman 2025? Why is it that the viewership, as low as it was for Peacemaker, literally dropped 40% between season 1 and season 2? Why is that? Because there is literally no hype for anything James Gunn is doing. James Gunn is a fraud. He's a snake oil salesman, and he's a complete phony. So this is where we are. And anything that Sean Gunn says needs to be ridiculed, and he just needs to be laughed at. If anything, this validates a Curly Ray. If anything, this validates all of us for showing how stupid the gun fandom really is. Because it doesn't make any sense what they're doing.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And I'm going to be switching browsers soon so I can show a clip from sNyHavoc. Firefox doesn't let me play sound. Or, well, no, actually, sNyHavoc, will that clip copyright strike me? That it's that one interview where apparently Gunny Poo says he's not sure about the DCU continuing.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, okay.
It shouldn't. You should be okay. You should be fine. Because he's on like a podcast. It's not an official.
Right. Give me a minute, guys. Firefox doesn't. I didn't plan on sharing clips, so I wasn't really concerned about that. But things happen last minute on live streams. So that's all I'm going to say. So I'll be right back. Zod, do some more ranting.
Okay, great. Great. You know how much I love ranting, especially about James Gunn. I mean, at this point, he knows he's done. He knows. And that clip that we're about to show you says it all. He knows his days are numbered. He knows he made a mistake with Peacemaker. And not only that, guys, he lied about Peacemaker. He made all of these claims about how Peacemaker connects directly to Superman. Peacemaker is this huge, epically important part of the DCU. And if you watch it, it ends on the most lackluster, boring, nonsensical, ridiculous, and just forgettable way. James Gunn did it to himself. I got to tell you, this honestly was James Gunn's game to lose for all his big talk and all his bot fans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And okay, I'm not showing a 15-minute clip. Okay, there we go. Thank you, sNyHavoc. Thank you.
You're not going to show like the whole. You're not going to show the whole interview.
14 minutes? No. I don't have time. And also, Comic Book News, we have another rant coming on you later on. So, but anyways.
Absolutely. So, one thing I've been really curious about is you've referenced things like Peacemaker Season 2 and Lanterns setting up different threads and arcs. how far do these arcs go? Like, do they culminate in Man of Tomorrow, or can we expect them to go further than that?
Yes, they definitely go significantly further than Man of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now, whether or not that'll be me that's able to fulfill that promise depends on a lot of things in life. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. Really interesting.
In his own words, Bat Dad. You see, he was going to say, if I stay. That's what he was about to say. And then he stopped himself, and then he kind of made a joke about it because he knows he's done. It's over. It's over. Just like Belle Reeve says, it's over. It is done. He knows he's cooked. There will be no more James Gunn. This is why there's no Peacemaker season 3 being planned. He'll be lucky if Supergirl gets out. He'll be lucky if they don't turn around and use Supergirl as a tax write-off. Because nothing that he's got planned. And honestly, what happened to that Gods and Monsters slate that he created, right? He had no real plan. It just goes to show you that it was all James Gunn's BS from the beginning.
100%, Zod, 100%. And before we move on, I just want to give my quick thoughts on Sean Gunny Poo and his behavior. Dude, you are representing your brother, okay? You are representing your brother, the head of DC. Going after fans is not a good look. It is never a good look, especially when they're not even hating on your stuff. They're just praising something they love. TheCurlyRay is probably one of the nicest people ever. He doesn't go after people. He doesn't attack other things. He is, I think Sky and Leon said it perfectly. TheCurlyRay is a model citizen. And seeing this behavior from a public figure like you, that is not acceptable. That is never acceptable. And yes, I'm a little heated right now, but I care about my friends. I stand up for my friends. And when I see famous people, public figures going after my friends, I will get upset. And I am not ashamed to admit that. So, guys, Sean Gunn, stop acting like a child, okay? Stop acting like a freaking child for someone who just is passionate about DC, okay? Passionate about a certain section of DC, okay? TheCurlyRay is not the guy to go after, ever. And, this actually leads me perfectly into my next rant. Seriously, people, leave TheCurlyRay alone. This isn't just Sean Gunn anymore, but this is actually another... I'm not going to show the comments on this post because I don't want to give these haters attention. I'm just going to show the post that people are responding to. Because they're not public figures, so I don't want to give them the satisfaction. So here's TheCurlyRay. Joker in Zack Snyder's Justice League was amazing. Jared Leto was amazing as the Joker. Sell zAcK to Netflix. Sell Snyderverse to Netflix. And yes, in my opinion, in the Snyder Cut, Jared Leto was amazing. Probably what we would get in the Ayer cut, but from what we did actually see, that was an amazing scene, and it is my all-time favorite Batman Joker scene ever. Zod, do you see anything wrong or toxic about that post?
No, not at all.
There were so many people going after TheCurlyRay for his opinion on Jared Leto's Joker of that scene in the Snyder Cut.
Well, you have to consider the source here. You got to consider that these are the same people who lost their minds just because Zack Snyder posted a black and white photograph on Instagram of Superman, of Henry Cavill as Superman. You've got to remember, these are not very well-adjusted people. These are people that the words touch grass was invented for. These are the types of people that have nothing in their lives beyond this cape shit. This is all they care about. This is all they're about. And it's not even about Zack Snyder per se. It's the fact that they hate the Zack Snyder fan base so much that anytime anybody posts anything, and these people know that we are members of Zack Snyder's fandom, we live rent-free in their heads. So they go nuts and they say all kinds of crazy stuff, and they make these ridiculous attacks because they have nothing else. And they know that James Gunn dropped the ball. They know that James Gunn sucks, but they can't admit it because they hate the Snyder fandom that much that anything that's not the Snyder fandom is a win for them. So it's not surprising to me that they would go after TheCurlyRay for just simply voicing, his feelings about Jared Leto's Joker. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, Zod. Like, here's a point I always bring up. Legends of Tomorrow. There was a whole campaign to save Legends of Tomorrow. I don't think it got too big, but here's the thing. I didn't care for that show. I stopped watching at season 5 because to me it became a garbage show. I didn't like it. It didn't fit with the rest of the Arrowverse. To me, I just was not interested in it. But here's the thing. I don't care that people fight to save a show that they love. Why? Doesn't affect me. I can choose not to watch it. So why would I care if that show continues or not? Why would I spend my time trying to shut down that campaign? Even let's say it got really big, as big as this one did. Okay? And again, me saying it's a small campaign, that's not me trying to insult it. I just didn't see it get that big. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, if it got really big, what benefit do I have to insult it? To say, tear this, stop this, Legends of Tomorrow sucks. Why would I have to benefit from commenting under these posts, Legends of Tomorrow sucks? They're not hurting me. They're not going after me. Why? I have no reason to care.
Yeah, his wife is dirty and slimy too, Bell. Absolutely. Unbelievable.
Referring to Gunny Poo's wife, by the way, just to clarify. But yes, absolutely. So I just can't respect people going after TheCurlyRay for just posting about what he loves. And it really bothered me, and I had to say something. And I had to get ZodWriter's opinion.
It spawned an entire stream from Sky last night. And he had TheCurlyRay on to talk about it. So it's one of those things where you know that you've kind of hit a nerve with the Gunn fans when they're going after somebody who's just as genuinely positive as TheCurlyRay. It's insane to me. I've never seen TheCurlyRay post anything negative. It's like, give me a break.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. It's just ridiculous. At the end of the day, just wanted to get this little rant off my chest about how Sean Gunny Poo and his little clan are behaving. It's disgusting. It's deplorable. But you know what? Their days are numbered. Their days of fandom, like their days in DC, are numbered. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
I mean, the meltdowns when it's finally announced that Netflix is acquiring WB officially, and then they say Snyderverse restored or whatever they say. The meltdowns are just going to be legendary. I mean, can you imagine just how crazy the gun bots are going to be reacting then? Oh my God!
I mean,
they're gonna be taking screenshots. They're gonna be taking screenshots of canceling their Netflix account, canceling their. They're gonna be doing all kinds of crazy stuff, Batman.
I mean, that's assuming that Zack Snyder hasn't moved on, which we'll talk about later.
Oh yeah. Because that's a big part of it,
But now I just want to show this. Warner Brothers and Netflix have a little bit of a music deal. So let me share my screen real quick. So Warner Music in talks with Netflix for artist-based films, Bloomerang News reports. So Warner Music, interesting. Warner Brothers division, the Warner Music Group, is nearing. Wait, let me just double check. Warner Music is owned by. Or maybe they're a separate company, actually. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I thought there was some connection. Oh, yeah, they were founded by Warner Brothers. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. They were founded by Warner Brothers. I'm not sure the exact history, but a Warner Brothers adjacent company is in talks. So basically, a joint venture aimed at acquiring up to 1.2 billion worth of music catalogs. So isn't that interesting, Zod? They're working with a Warner Brothers adjacent company. Why aren't they working with... I mean, why aren't they working with HBO Max? I mean, shouldn't they work with them, Zod?
Yeah, I mean, we all know, and we both know, okay, that Warner Brothers, that Netflix doesn't have the money to acquire Warner Brothers. I mean, come on, this deal is nonsense because Netflix is broke, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Acquire. Acquire. Hashtag acquire.
I mean, a merger and an acquisition is basically the same thing, right, sNyHavoc? But yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say about that. I just wanted to kind of highlight that real quickly, but it's not as big.
That's good news, though. That's another notch in Netflix's belt.
But here's the bigger news. Warner Brothers movies on Netflix. Warner Brothers is getting more movies on Netflix.
Gee, I wonder why. Could it be that the transitional stages have begun taking shape, and this is just the beginning? Because it takes a long time to get everything together when these mergers or acquisitions happen, right? So, just saying.
Yeah.
Just because it hasn't been, just because it hasn't been officially announced to the public yet, doesn't mean that the gears haven't started turning behind the scenes and that things are not already in motion.
Exactly, Zod. And coming November 1st, Don't Worry, Darling, Elvis 2022, a biopic about Elvis, Game Night, In the Heights, Isn't It Romantic, Just Mercy, Life of the Party,
Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, never mind. I got a little bit too excited there.
Not yet, at least not in the United States yet, but Tenet, a Christopher Nolan movie, one that I do think is a little overrated, but I will see that movie again to see if I still feel that way. The Little Things, which has our very own Jared Leto in it, our Joker. The Nun 2, The Way Back, our Batman is in this movie, and Wonka. So, lots of Warner Brothers movies on.
Yeah.
So
wave one.
And it's interesting that they're not on HBO Max, or maybe there'll be a dual release. I have to double check that, but HBO Max is missing a lot of Warner Brothers content, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to me how they've got their own streaming service and they limit so much of their content actually being on there, and then they have the gall to raise their price again. Imagine that.
I know. Yeah, but who knows if HBO Max will be around much longer? But it just shows. I mean, here's the thing: you can take any out of context you want about what Netflix says. I was saying in life, actions speak louder than words. Netflix is working with Warner Brothers. They're working with Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers adjacent companies, and just saying. And I mean, here's the thing, Zod. I'll go this far. I'm predicting and I'm only being semantical because I think this is based on timing. That's why I'm getting to the semantics of this. I don't think Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't. I think they're going to buy Warner Brothers after the splits. Because let's be honest, that's the better deal, because they're putting all the good assets in that company anyways without all the debt. If you're Netflix, if you can get all the assets of Warner Brothers that you actually want without all the debt, wouldn't you do that?
That's a good point.
Plus, technically speaking, with less assets that they own, because that's less assets they're buying, the FTC, the Fair Trade Commission, probably won't have as many issues. I mean, again, I don't know exactly how that works. I'm not an expert, but yep, spring quarter 2026. Just please don't make it on news on April 1st. Please do not, please do not announce this on April 1st. Okay.
Oh yeah, April 1st. That's what we'll see. It'll say Netflix has acquired the sNyDeRverse. That'll be the headline of all of these cosmic news and our movie news and all of these, that'll be their April 1st posts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying, seeing this news, seeing that they're getting more Warner Brothers content, they're working with Warner Brothers because they're probably showing interest in seeing how much interest there is in the Warner Brothers IP. What better way to gauge that interest than putting movies on your platform that has our Batman and our Joker in it?
Yep.
And a Christopher Nolan movie that, hey, even if that I'm not a huge fan of. I guess, Zod, did you ever see Tenet?
Yes.
What'd you think of it?
I found it to be very cerebral. I don't really. It's one of those movies where I feel like I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but I understood what he was going for. So,
and that's fair. I think for me, it felt like it was just being confusing for the sake of being confusing.
Yeah, he was trying to do a lot of experimental things in that movie. So I don't think that movie was necessarily meant to be, definitively one way or the other. And I kept thinking that there was a problem with the theater that I was watching it in. I kept thinking that it was that the sound mix. I kept thinking that there were errors. But then when I went back and watched the movie later, when it came out on video, I noticed the sound was just as janky, and that's when I realized, oh yeah, that's what Christopher Nolan was trying to do. He wanted it to be hard to hear. He wanted there to be distortion. He wanted it to be confusing. So he succeeded because a lot of people were confused.
Yep. But it's still, regardless of how I feel about that movie, it's still exciting news. But now, Zod, I guess it's official, because I know technically it was all speculation before, but now Warner Brothers Discovery has announced they are for sale. And I need to change my browsers again, so I'll be right back. Just give your brief thoughts on this.
All right. Well, let's imagine for a moment. Okay, let's be very, 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 very clear on this. Okay, if what's going to happen if Netflix is the company that buys them? Now, it would be kind of funny to me if some company just came out of the blue that we weren't expecting to buy them, just like some random company, like, some small films company just came out of the blue and said, oh yeah, we're gonna buy WB, and they somehow get enough people with big money behind them to turn around and buy this. That would be wild, but that's a possibility now that they've announced that they are for sale.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, anything is possible.
I mean, Batman, we could get together. We could get the community together, and we could all right. Syndicate Network could get together.
Oh yeah, buy and do a hostile takeover of Warner Brothers, right? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could. I mean, it's a publicly traded stock, but that would be interesting. But still, I think, I mean, this is news we've all
I
known
think
for
it'd be crazy if it was all Snyder fans that got together, and it became a hostile takeover of the company, and it was all Snyder, the whole Snyder fandom united once again and bought up all the shares so that Snyder could come back and finish his arc. Well, why'd you guys buy Warner Brothers? Oh, well, we just wanted Zack Snyder to finish his arc. We don't care about anything else. We just want Zack to finish his arc, and then we'll sell the company again. We'll sell the company to a big after Zack finishes his arc, we'll turn around and sell the company to a bigger movie company. and then we'll turn around and release, we'll turn around and release One Punch Man under that label too while we're at it, since we own the company now.
Hey, I'd be for it. But really though, this is just, I mean, it's nice to see that this is actually announced, but still that you see a lot of this anti-Netflix narrative. It's like Paramount.
Oh, yeah. Qatar is 100%. Qatar is 100% right. 100% right. Oh my God.
I mean, even freaking Tubi. I mean, it's like, I swear it's like everyone but Netflix. And then, there's a certain shoeless shill out there. I'm going to say this again. Shoeless shill out there saying that Netflix isn't ready to play with the big boys, isn't ready for big boy business.
I love that you mentioned shoeless, and I got a comment on this because I think that this is particularly funny, considering that when him and Mikey Sutton were on top of the world, he was literally saying the exact opposite of what he's saying now. It is so funny to me. Shoe. Okay, here's the thing, shoeless shill. All right. You may have taken all your videos down, okay, but the scribes remember, okay? And what you and Mikey used to talk about before you backstabbed Mikey and everything that he stood for. You got the man literally rolling in his grave right now. You were saying the exact opposite. You built your whole brand on the idea that sell Snyderverse to Netflix was an inevitability. And you can't lie about that. You can't, just because you've taken your videos down doesn't mean that all of a sudden everything that you and Mikey said is all forgotten. You can't rewrite history, Shill. That's not what's going on. That's what's going on now for you. You're trying to rewrite history. And now because you don't like Sky, you don't like me, you don't like Leon, you don't like the Cool Table, you don't like Bad Dan, you don't like Curly Ray, you don't like any of us anymore, for whatever reason, when you turned on your brand, you turned on your fan base, you're over here talking like it's an impossibility when you literally grifted your way to the top. So which is it? Was everything that you were telling us a complete lie? Was everything you were telling us a complete grift? That it's not a possibility for Netflix to acquire Warner Brothers? Because that makes you a liar, and unfortunately, that would make the late great Mikey Sutton, that would make him dishonest as well, because you and Mikey both were saying the same stuff. So if what you're saying now is true, Shill, then you're not only making yourself look bad, but you're making Mikey look bad too. So which is it? And I would go as far as to say, if that is true, that your entire platform was built on a grift, then you owe a lot of people a lot of money. You owe a lot of supporters a lot of money, and you better think about how you're going to make reparations to all your former supporters, because we supported you with a lot of money. You were giving us, you were selling, and if you were selling us snake oil, shill, if you were selling us snake oil, then that means that you're dishonest. And you owe us back all of our money for supporting you. You owe us back all those super chats. You owe us back, you owe us back all those donations.
Stream elements.
Membership. Where'd the money go? Obviously, the money didn't go to shoes. The money didn't go to the haircut. Where'd the money go? Where'd the money go when you went to Full Circle? I mean, let's keep it honest. Let's keep it honest. What are we talking about here? If what you're saying is true, it's the exact opposite of what you said back then. So what changed other than the fact that you don't like the people involved with the cell movement? What else changed? When did you become the world's biggest James Gunn fan? When did you become a supporter of everything that Mikey Sutton was against, by the way? I don't know.
Exactly, Zod. And this one hurts us because he was a friend to us. He built his channel leading one way and then bait and switched us. That's not okay. Here's the thing. I'm a Zack Snyder fan. Even if it's not popular to become a Zack Snyder fan later, I'm honest, and I will stick with what I believe in. I mean, for crying out loud, I stood up for Ezra Miller so many times and still do, and I know that's not the popular stance right now. Even a lot of ignorant people don't listen to what's actually going on right now. But anyways, I do what I believe is right. I do what I believe is the truth. And I will not sell out because I want access. That's not how I am. That is never how I am. That's not how ZodWriter is. So basically, I mean, here's the thing. If you watch Sky, let's just say this guy went to Full Circle. Sky, our good friend Skywalker the Jedi, gave him shoes, bought for him to have a haircut. But exactly, this guy sold everyone out at the end of the day, and again, I've only seen this clip because it was shared with me. But at the end of the day, Netflix is ready for the big boy business. They have money. Paramount is in debt. Universal is in debt. Disney, do you really want Disney, DC, and Marvel under the same roof?
And the irony of all that, oh so fresh, is that he's the one now allegedly looking to bring back Geekosity with another clown that didn't respect anything that Mikey was doing. I honestly have to tell you, it's so crazy to me. It's like, are we really going to sit here and try to pretend like all those years of build-up, all those years of things that they promoted and talked about? Honestly, I feel like, was it all a grift? Did they ever really believe that? That's what I want to know. Was it all just something you said because you knew you could get money off of it? That's what I want to know, because how's it working out for you now? You switch sides, and it doesn't look like you have nearly as big of a base as you had back when you were on the side of the Snyder fandom. So my thing is, it makes me feel like, A, he was never a Snyder fan. It was a grift. B, Mikey truly was a Snyder fan. Mikey had a change of heart because Mikey wasn't a Snyder fan at the beginning. And what I loved about Mikey was 100% honest about how he felt in the beginning. Mikey will tell anybody that he was not a fan of Zack Snyder at first. And he would say that till the day that he died. Mikey was genuine, 1,000%. He was a genuine individual. He genuinely loved and cared for everything that he said. And he took extra care to make sure the things that he said were true to the best of his knowledge. And it's a shame that the same cannot be said for the other guy. That's all I have to say about that.
100% Zod, 100%. It's shame, it's deplorable, and And I was his first. I think I was his first subscriber or his first member. I was one of his first. I don't remember which. So it was heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, this is the truth, guys. And first of all, just because I'm seeing in the chat real quick, I was referring to the allegations about Ezra Miller that I did not agree with, but I still love his performance as the Flash. I think he's the best Flash ever. And if you don't agree with me, whatever.
I saw a video that was published today that was talking about Ezra Miller, and I thought about you, Bat Dan. Still running with the same negative, wrong, debunked narrative. And I almost sent you the video, but I know how you feel about it, so I was like, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to trigger you. But I saw that and I was like, holy crap. And all this person would have to do is do a simple search and they could find out the truth about the Ezra Miller stuff.
Just go on Chase Iron Eyes, the guy who accused Ezra Miller. Go on his Instagram in the first place, and you'll see the truth. This has been out for over a year now. So, but it just
still running with the same narrative, Bat Dan.
And I will say this right now: if you are running with a narrative that because you don't like his performance, and that's why you're running with the narrative when you're just too ignorant to learn the truth, I don't respect you.
He's probably a gun fan to top it off. And that's ironic to me, considering that Ezra Miller worked for James Gunn briefly.
Yeah. He did the cameo that James Gunn cut in that retconned in season 2. So.
And he had his fingerprints and he had his paws all mixed in with the Flash movie, which is why we didn't get the awesome stuff that Andy Muschietti originally put in there, thanks to James Gunn and his notes.
Well, I'm sure Netflix will give us the true version of that movie that show Ezra Miller's amazing performance. And I'm going to say this, that Ezra Miller's amazing performance. But anyways, hey, you know what? As long as you're respectful, you can disagree with me. I will say that. As long as you're not spreading the lies about character, because that I don't respect. But anyways, I know we kind of got a little... But, it is related in terms of what you were saying earlier. This whole anti-Netflix narrative is just stupid. Okay? They have money. They are not broke. And look, they're not going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm going to make sure I emphasize this. They're not going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. They're going to likely buy Warner Brothers after the split. They'll get the good assets, which will have DC included, the streaming and studios version, but now it's like Warner Brothers and Discovery Global, no longer streaming and studios and global networks. I don't remember, but it's kind of like what I joked about. Is basically Warner Brothers and Discovery are getting divorced, and Discovery is getting some of Warner Brothers' assets as well as their debt. So that's basically what's happening there. But they are for sale because at the end of the day, Warner Brothers screwed up. Okay, they screwed up with Zazoff, Gunny Poo, and Safran. So this is great news all around. And again, we beat this topic to death really on previous streams, but it's officially announced. So, and I just needed to rant about the anti-Netflix narrative, and Zod did too because it's stupid. But anyways, great news. But Zod, it's just too bad because, as I keep hearing, Zack Snyder has moved on. So hold on.
Yes.
Because, actually, let's go back to, sorry, the last minute idea I had, but we're going to go back to TheCurlyRay again because, or it might be easier to find this through Cosmic Book News. But basically, Cosmic Book News retweeted, let's see, I should find this pretty quickly. And he's even playing the Gunny Poo clip, but yeah, anyways, sorry guys, this was a little bit of a last minute decision here, but basically just another TheCurlyRay, again, just talking about his love for the Snyderverse, his love for Zack Snyder's DC work, you know, not bothering anyone, not doing anything, just talking about his love for DC. Not for Zack Snyder's DC specifically, not bothering anyone. And then here's an account talking about how going out of his way to be like, sorry, Zack Snyder and everybody have moved on. Okay, here we are. Let me just show this post real quick. So Cosmic Book News. So here's TheCurlyRay, that same post we showed earlier. Sorry, Zach and everybody have moved on. That's really interesting. I mean, we were fighting so much for. Yeah, I know, TheCurlyRay. It's really interesting. It really is interesting how they love to talk about you, but you know, we're going to show about how Zack Snyder has moved on. Zod, are you ready to see how Zack Snyder has moved on?
I am.
Okay, let's do it. So, okay, guys, we're going to see here on Bat Dan's Thoughts once and for all that Zack Snyder has indeed moved on. So, here is Zack Snyder's Instagram that he got recently. And I'm going to do a separate video about the last photograph, because I think there's a lot of cool stuff to show there, but I don't want to cram it into this stream.
Yeah, so, and let me be clear. We are all very, 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 very excited about the last photograph. I was hearing about the last photograph before Justice League came out. So this is a movie. Zach. This is a movie Zach has been planning to do for many, many years.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And in the meantime, while this whole thing gets sorted out with Zach doing DC, we support his other work in the meantime. Like, you got TheCurlyRay doing Rebel Moon Theory. And best believe that Bat Dan's Thoughts will be covering the last photograph. But on his Instagram, this is from 5 days ago, from Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is Superman. From BVS shot with my monochrome 50 millimeter. I'm sorry, guys, I'm bad at pronouncing these words. Noculix.
Yes, it's a
Noculix.
It's a camera. It's a special camera lens. Yeah.
3 weeks on Instagram. Thanks to everyone. 5 days ago, Zack Snyder has posted this, and I'm sure the haters, if they clip me, will love posting that little pronunciation issue, but that's okay. But, you know, I mean, it's one post. I mean, surely, one post isn't everything. But, you know, here's some more photos of the last photograph. And look at this. 3 days ago, Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. This I shot with my Leah. Oh my. Okay, guys, I'm not a camera person, so I'm sorry I don't know how to pronounce these words. My Leica monochrome and my modified 50 millimeter dream lens by this company. By zero tick. I didn't think this much through, but anyway.
Either way, he says thank you for being the perfect Deathstroke.
Thank you, Joe Manganiello, for being the perfect Deathstroke. So you got the Snyderverse Superman, the Snyderverse Deathstroke, but I mean, I don't know. They say 2 is a coincidence, but 3 is a pattern. So let's see if there is a third one. Look at this. One of my favorite Batman photos I took with all my Leica monochrome. We built that little set especially for these portraits. Oh my God. Now you got Ben Affleck's Batman. Really interesting, Zod. Really interesting. I mean, I can totally tell from Zack Snyder's Instagram that he completely moved on.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Not to mention, you've literally got words coming out of Zack Snyder's own mouth on video where he literally says that he would definitely come back if Netflix had the rights.
Yes, which I've shown on previous streams. But yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, and this is more reassurance right here. Zack Snyder clearly has not moved on. And you know, he does this post right after his good buddy James Gunn released a Superman movie.
Oh yeah,
and
best friends of all time.
And here he is putting a post saying Henry Cavill is Superman in the middle of him doing the last photograph.
Two photos of those two guys exist, and the second photo looks like it is just like an anniversary version of the previous photo.
Yeah. But you know, this is what we're saying though. I mean, he didn't do this. I mean, Zack Snyder doing this once is a big deal, but he didn't do this once. He didn't do this twice. He did this 3 times. And for all we know, this stream's going to become outdated because he'll do it a 4th time tomorrow. Who knows? Or maybe he won't. This is a live stream. I can't predict the future. But here he is posting his cast, his Superman, Henry Cavill, his Deathstroke, Joe Manganiello, his Batman, Ben Affleck. Zack Snyder is posting this. You think he would do this if he was moved on?
Well, I don't know. He could just be, gotta remember, Batman, he could just be, you know, celebrating and showing off the work that he did, that he's very, very proud of. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's, you know, that he's coming back, even though, mind you, those of us that had been following Zack Snyder on Vero all the way back to the release the Snyder Cut days, remember when Zack started ramping up with these types of images shortly before it was announced that the Snyderverse was going to get released. But no, there's no there, right? You know, there's no there. There's no there.
In like 2019 November, I was seeing posts about his dark side, or I'm sorry, Euxis. Although they don't call him Euxis because there's a pronunciation debate. But I remember seeing that, you know, 6 months before it was announced. Really interesting.
Back then, when everybody, remember, these same people that are flipping out right now and are all up in arms because Zack has the gall to post this stuff, were the same people back during the release of Snyder Cut days that were telling us right up until it was announced that it was never going to happen.
I remember that, Zod. I completely remember that. And they say if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Zack is definitely following a pattern, and his fans know it. Okay, we know what Zack's pattern is, and I have to say this, even the gun bots know what Zack is doing. They know. That's the reason why they're acting the way that they're acting, because they know that it's true. They know that when Zack comes out and starts posting this type of stuff, it means something.
100%, Zod. 100%. And at the end of the day, we're fighting for a universe we love. If Gunny Poo doesn't get his stuff continuing, it's because it failed on its own merit, not because we campaign for the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse is not a whole cinematic universe necessarily. It can just be Zack Snyder's 5 films. I mean, hopefully we get the Batflick movie too. But, I mean, let's be honest. The DCEU does not fully fit the Snyderverse. Aquaman doesn't fit the Snyderverse. Okay? Wonder Woman 1984 doesn't fit the Snyderverse. Birds of Prey doesn't fit the Snyderverse. Gunny Poo's The Suicide Squad definitely does not fit the Snyderverse.
Wow.
So it doesn't have to be a whole universe. So in theory, if Gunny Poo's universe was a success, they could do both. They could just let Zack finish his little story arc right here and let David Cornsweat's Man of Tomorrow continue. But, you know, if they don't let it continue, it probably just means
it really is just a little story that's going to literally make Warner Brothers a whole world full of money. But, you know, it's not about money. Remember Superman didn't have to make money to be a success. Remember that? Oh, Superman doesn't have to make money. So
yeah,
what's the
I
problem?
remember that. I mean, it's weird. I thought businesses were in the business of making money, but
Right.
I mean, what do I
But
know?
right. But this is James Gunn we're talking about. So since when was money an issue? I mean, come on.
But we know that the new buyers of
This
Warner
is James
Brothers.
Gunn. Everybody loves James Gunn, right? Who doesn't love James Gunn? James Gunn is so loving. He's so polite and so respectful towards everybody in the fandom, and his brother too. Oh, his brother is just a class act. Oh, and that guy in Peacemaker, the dude that plays the slob. What's his name? Steve Aggie. Aggie. I don't even know how to say his name. I think it's Aggie. Steve Aggie. Yeah. What about him? They're such polite and wonderful people. And James Gunn's wife. Oh, she is just a treasure. She is a treasure of a person. I mean, she is so kind and generous towards anybody. Just ask John Cena. How generous and kind James Gunn's wife is with the way she's kissing up on him every episode. Let's just think about that for a moment. I mean, these are salt of the earth people, Bat Dan, and we're the we're the scumbag Snyder fans who can't move on, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And Sin Havoc, are you saying that they actually will buy Warner Brothers with Discovery included? I mean, hey, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, not a psychic, but yeah. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous at the end of the day, Zod. All this stuff. It's like we can't just be excited about stuff we love, and again, even the Gunny Poo clan, the actual people in real life involved with him, not just his fans, but his friends and family. It's ridiculous. It's just fully.
Imagine what the James Gunn friends and family plan looks like. Oh my God.
But and this is exactly why I support Sell ZSHL to Netflix, Sell Snyderverse to Netflix, because I heard there's a new Sell WB hashtag involving Netflix going around. But here's the thing: I ain't giving WB engagement on Twitter until this merger, sorry, Sin Havoc, this acquisition 1 happens and 2 closes. Okay, when that happens, Warner Brothers will get engagement, but putting WB in any hashtag is giving them engagement, and I'm not doing that. So, not happening for me. So, I mean, I'll rant about them on YouTube, but on Twitter, not hashtag format. So, at the end of the day, Zack Snyder has proved Cosmic Book News wrong. He has proved, and just so you know, mods, I don't tolerate hate trolls on my channel. I know other people like to debate with them. Me, it's a waste of energy. So, mods, feel free to go on banning.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I really love the projection. Snyder Bros are a small minority until they need someone to blame for poor viewership.
Wait. I'm sorry, Cake Batter. You were being sarcastic. I'm sorry. I misread that at first. But still a good message for future guys. He's right, though. I mean, Cake Batter's right.
Yeah. At that point, yeah. It's funny. It's funny because here's the thing. I agree with Cake Batter because you can't have it both ways, right? It's either we're the minority or we're not the minority. And if we're not the minority, then you have to acknowledge that James Gunn. Here's the thing: James Gunn has always been niche. Even though he got some notoriety off of his Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel, he has always been a niche filmmaker. He has a certain brand of peculiar humor that weirdos who live in their parents' basement, otherwise known as basement dwellers, like to relate very, very well to. So James Gunn is one of those people who, he thrives on that, and he thinks he's bigger than he is. He's he's one of those people who literally believes he is a legend in his own mind. So all of the people around him are those same types of people, and they resonate with James Gunn because that's how they are. They're lazy losers who don't do anything. And they can't even be bothered to go see movies. Because the fact that Superman couldn't beat Man of Steel from 2013 is pretty pathetic if you think about it. This is Superman 2025. I mean, come on. Really? You couldn't beat Man of Steel?
Not adjusting for inflation. You don't need to even adjust for inflation. 13 years ago, 12 years ago, you don't have to adjust for inflation for Man of Steel to win. Just want to add that in there too.
Right. So you couldn't beat Man of Steel? And you had people going around talking about how Superman's going to make $1 billion. Really? In what universe? Because in the universe that we live in, and I know I like to talk about a lot about alternative realities and the multiverse and that kind of stuff. I know that's my bag. That's what I like to think about. But in this reality, it didn't happen. So I don't know what universe a lot of these gun bots live in, but they don't live in our reality because that's not the case. That is not happening. There's no... People are not even watching this movie on HBO Max.
Nope. They're not. And that's the thing. There's more hype for Zack Snyder's post on Instagram than there was for Superman. That's just the reality of the situation, whether you like it or not. Merchandise like this sells. Gunny Poo's merchandise, it goes on clearance. So, and also one more thing I do want to point out with this Henry Cavill post, there is something I forgot to show, because this is also really important too. Let me just scroll to the right thing. I just want to show someone who liked the post too. Who's that, Zod?
Oh, yeah. Wonder Woman herself.
Let me just remind you people where I pulled this up. Zack Snyder, his Instagram, his post. Click on the likes. Oh, not you, Zod. Just click on the likes.
I like the post as well. I liked it too.
Yeah, I know. But just want to highlight this. Gal Gadot, our Wonder Woman, liked it as well. So,
yeah.
What? So, just saying, at the end of the day, that's what brought the hype, not Gunny Poo stuff. That's the reality we live in, guys, okay? So, you can say all you want that Zack Snyder has moved on. Zack has not. Actions speak louder than words, and Netflix's actions, Zack Snyder's actions, show interest.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. So, I think at the end of the day, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep fighting for sell Zia Shale to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix, because that's the way to go. Not even if we want Netflix to buy Warner Brothers as a whole, we don't want to give them engagement in the meantime, especially from certain people who are just trying to take the clout for themselves. But anyways,
but I mean, imagine the gall of these people trying to create a Netflix hashtag now, when we've been using the sell hashtag for years. Just imagine that.
And guys, we already kind of debunked clickbait headlines. We're not going for that again, but it's liking something when it's popular and hating something when it's not. We fought for Netflix before it was popular. So, oh, yep, Frank C. I remember. And he also, it was either the last stream or the penultimate stream, he said that Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot were interested in coming back for Zack Snyder for ZSJL 2 and 3 should it happen on Netflix. So, okay, the only people who have moved on are the haters. Well, actually, no, the haters.
No, the haters haven't moved on. That's the thing. This is the thing. The haters talk more about Zack Snyder than we do. Okay, and that's just a fact. I've never seen so many people who don't like something talk about it so much. Why do you care? I mean, I at least had the courtesy to watch Peacemaker season 2 before I trashed it and told everybody that it was pure garbage. I at least watched the garbage first before I attacked it. These people attacked Zack Snyder. I bet you 90% of these people that are these gun bots have never even watched the movies that Zack Snyder has done. And they only attack it because they don't like Zack Snyder's fan base.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't going to attack the Superman movie in terms of other than the backstory behind it, but I wasn't going to attack the movie itself until my dad made me watch it. Once my dad made me watch it, then I'm like, okay, I can talk about it.
Let's be honest. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't want to watch Superman, but I knew it was unrealistic for me to not watch the movie because I was going to be talking about it. So I had to watch it. You can't talk about something. And you know what's so funny too? I love seeing all these people who shat all over Man of Steel, having gone back and watched Man of Steel, now that they realize what garbage James Gunn has passed off as DC, and now they're saying, Man of Steel is a much better movie. Well, that's what we've been telling you. That's what we've been telling you for years. That's what we've been trying to instill in you, that there is there's actually depth to the Snyderverse, that Snyder actually cares about these DC characters. He actually has a plan for these characters. It's very, very obvious that everybody's savior, James Gunn, does not have a plan for these characters. And it shows. And this is why he's in the shape that he's in. And he knows his days are numbered and that his contract is not going to be renewed. You could see it all over that clip when he was interviewed. He was trying to play it off, but he knows. He knows he's gone. He knows he's done. They would have to be 100% brain dead to even consider re-upping that man's contract. The orgy on Peacemaker alone is enough to get anybody fired, let alone all the stuff that James Gunn has done. It's over. The Gunn universe was DOA, just like we all said it was. And this right now, from all the gun bots doing things like attacking TheCurlyRay, is just cope. That's all.
100%, Zod. 100%. It's just stupid. At the end of the day, guys, it's just stupid. It's a waste of time. And if you don't like something, don't engage with it at the end of the day. But you seem to love talking about it. We only talk about Gunny Poo because he's actually the head of DC right now. But I'll be honest, the instant James Gunn is no longer head of DC, I could care less about him at that point. That's just the reality of it. And at the end of the day, guys, Zack Snyder has not moved on, okay? No one has moved on. No one. And you can bet we will be getting ZSJL 2 and 3. I think we'll get the Batfleck movie, and we'll see. If Zack Snyder does another post tomorrow like TheCurlyRay predicted, I'm rooting for an Ezra Miller Flash post, but we'll see. We'll see. But at the end of the day, it's just haters being upset because they're losing and they know they are. So Gunny Poo's contract will not get renewed. You can guarantee it. And Netflix will be buying Warner Brothers, whether it's Warner Brothers Discovery or just Warner Brothers. And we will get ZSJL 2 and 3. That you can guarantee this right now. And haters don't like it. Well, haters don't like it. But at the end of the day, Zod, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was really fun having this great discussion. And I really appreciate the chat tonight. what are your final thoughts and what do you have coming up?
I'm just very, very happy to have been here with you. I always look forward to us having these discussions. I love being able to talk about this stuff. It feels good to be back in the trenches with you guys talking about this stuff again, and being expressive and being out there. And I feel like we're nearly there. I feel like we're going to get what we want. I feel like Netflix is going to come through, and that it's going to be a joyous time. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'll just be happy when James Gunn is gone. I honestly am at that point now where I will be happy regardless of what they do, as long as they get rid of James Gunn. Because at this point, I don't think it could get any worse than it already has. Between Superman and Peacemaker. And I want to start a new hashtag. Tax write-off Supergirl. That's the hashtag. Hashtag tax write-off Supergirl. That's what it should be. For real. We don't even want that movie to come out. Sorry, Jason Momoa. You should have kept your tap dancing to yourself. It should have waited for the Snyderverse like Gal Gadot is doing, because we're probably never going to get to see your performance as Lobo now. Oh, well.
But I'm still looking forward to seeing you back as Aquaman. I still want that.
Absolutely.
Because I understand that actors need to get work. I understand they need pay.
Hey, but that's show business, right? WB. Yes, sir.
And at the end of the day, for me, this is just great news all around. Seeing Zack Snyder showing interest in the Snyderverse, and seeing the gun bots melt, the Gunny Poo bots melt down.
I like Belle Reeves hashtag too. Hashtag do Supergirl like Batgirl. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Those two girls have got to go. We don't need them. They're just not our type. And that's what the Snyderverse needs to say. The Snyderverse needs to say, you know what? It's not you ladies. It's us. It's our fault. It's not us. It's not you. It's us. So good luck in your future endeavors. Yeah. And because the only Supergirl we want to see is Sasha Kaye. She deserves another chance. Because to me, she was one of the bright spots in the Flash movie. I'll say that.
Absolutely, Zod. Absolutely. And we'll see if the haters actually talk about this stream. The haters may ignore this stream, or the haters may do a whole breakdown making fun of us. We'll see. But either way, I'm excited for the ride. And okay, I was waiting until the StreamYard was showing my face again. But yeah, at the end of the I don't want to keep saying at the end of the day. I have a lot of catchphrases, subconscious catchphrases, but this is just great all around. The haters are going to melt down, but I will stand up for my friends, especially when it's public figures going after them. But this channel will be promoting the idea of Netflix buying Warner Brothers a lot, with the sell hashtags, though, the real ones. Sell zAcK to Netflix, sell Snyderverse to Netflix, because I'm not promoting hashtags that give Warner Brothers engagement. And there's a lot of great stuff coming up on this channel. There'll be a lot of promotion, because it's exciting to have good DC to talk about again. And I'm capitalizing on that. Absolutely, because it's actually starting to become exciting to talk about DC again. So expect more streams like this.
You know what? We should do a watch party for the first episode of season 2 of Peacemaker on your channel, just for fun. We should do it. That would be hilarious. It's so bad, guys. It is so bad. The whole season was just utter trash. Wow.
And on that note, if you like this stream, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more unique takes and interesting thoughts and great discussions and rants such as these. And on that note, any final words, ZodWriter?
Get ready for One Punch, Dan, because it's coming.
Have a bat-tastic day.